Happy Sabbath to everyone. It is a gorgeous day outside. I haven't been out since this morning. It was very cool, like Mr. Phelps said. Have you ever found yourself in a sticky situation because you thought, I've got this, I can handle this? There was a time a little while back when I attempted to move a rocking chair that was in our living room up to our boys' room, Joel, when he was first born. And a bullheaded 20-year-old, you think, I don't need help with this. I don't want to bother anybody. You know how it goes. You go over to the chair, and you kind of size it up, and you kind of figure out how to get a good grasp on it, and you lift it up, see if you can even get it up in the air. Yeah, you get it up, and you're like, okay, I didn't throw my back out. That's good. I can probably make this. I can do it. So you set it back down. You don't want to waste any energy, so you drag it over to the stairs. You tug on it, you get it to where it needs to be, and you try to figure out what the best handling of this is again. So you try to get your hands positioned. You get it up, and you're good. Get it up a couple stairs, and you're doing okay. Get it up the next couple, and then you get to the point where the handrail starts. At least in my house, our handrail doesn't run all the way down. We have like 4 or 5 steps before it happens. And so then you kind of rest it on the steps. You kind of position it and try to adjust it to where it needs to be so that it'll fit up the stairs with the handrail not getting torn off and without denting up the wall. So then you get it to where you're like, okay, I can't really grab it now because it's different than where you started at. And you look back and you realize, yeah, I can't really get it back down either. So you sit there for a second and you try to adjust and you grab it. And with it being a rocking chair, you grab the metal part thinking, oh, this is stationary. Nope, it comes across, whacks you in the face because it's a rocking chair. So you're like, all right, just got to get through this. So you end up manhandling it the rest of the way. I personally ended up rolling it end over end on the top as I realized it was brushing against one of our walls and trying not to scratch it or dent it too much. But I ended up muscling it up. I got it all the way up. I made it. I got this, right? Yeah. A lot of us have thought about that. We've done it. I'm sure there's been many times, situations where you guys have been the same thing, where we didn't really want to impose on friends or family. So we decided, okay, I don't want to bother them. They've got a busy life too. I can do this. And God gives us many blessings. And one of those blessings is that He's given us each other. We can help each other do things. He's given us the blessings of close relationships. We need His blessings all the time. Relationships, friends, family, these are all blessings that we can rely on each other for, and God. So our human nature tends to be that we don't want to impose on each other. We know our lives are super busy, as well as everyone else's. And we don't want to impose on what they have going on that night. We don't know what it is. Even though I've got tons of friends in here and outside the church as well that live within minutes of me. But it's still the thought of calling them and saying, hey, can I bother you tonight? What are you up to? Can I get a couple minutes of your time? I got this. I didn't open the door for help. I didn't want that. I didn't ask for that blessing. So I personally feel that sometimes those times I could turn to God for blessings, my problems are insignificant compared to others. We see how many problems of friends that we have in the church, and mine aren't big deals. I don't want to turn to Him. I don't want to ask for those blessings when I could. So I have reservations about leaning on God at times. We don't have to feel like we're taking up God's time, though. When we're in crucial need, there's others that are in crucial need as well. What's hard to fathom is that God isn't limited by the time that we are. We try to fit God in this box, this little box that we have. Okay, we have our 24-hour day. I have these types of things that I can do. God doesn't fit in that box like we think our time is. He's got an endless supply of it. It's just not accurate to say He has to fit in this time slot. We're not taking up any of His time. He has it. We're told that we all have our own burdens to bear. So God doesn't think my problems are any less than anybody else's, even though I may. They're just different. We all have different issues at different times in our life. I don't think any of us would ever say, Lord, I don't want your blessings today. I don't need them. And that's because I just personally feel I don't want to impose on your time. But that's not accurate. We need continuously to turn to God and ask that he bless our lives in many different ways. We've seen from time and time again, friends and family that we love dearly become devastated by illness. Even today, we have several that we keep on our prayer list constantly because they're just continuously going through certain trials. God's protection is one of these blessings that we constantly need to ask for. If you would, turn to Psalms 57, and we'll look at verse 1. That's Psalms 57 and verse 1. And I'm actually going to read this in the New Living Translation. I think it puts a little spin on it as to what I want to hit on today. This is Psalms 57 and verse 1. It says, "Have mercy on me, O God, have mercy. I look to you for protection. I will hide beneath the shadow of your wings until the danger passes by." So here we see, we need to ask for protection. This is one of the blessings that we can ask of God for. Dangers arise in so many aspects of our lives. On our way home from Camp Buckeye just the other day, we were driving back, and I noticed they've got the signs that kind of keep up on traffic that go over the interstates every now and then. And this one was saying how many fatalities there have been this year alone, just this year in the state of Ohio. And it was already up above 600. It was the low 600s. And we need protection all the time. This is why it's so important to rely on God and ask him to protect us from harm. We just don't know when it'll occur. There's so many areas of our lives that can be impacted. Asking God for protection can be one of these things that we don't always ask for because we think, oh, the day's going well. I'm doing okay today. I'm feeling good. And it just slips away. It doesn't even really come to the forefront of your mind. This is close to my heart right now because there's a number of individuals that are close to my age. They're a little bit older than me, but they've recently been stricken with health issues. Just things that randomly popped up. They were found with some type of illness or something that was going on. And one of them, they haven't even figured it out yet, what's causing the issues. And it's hard for us to see it. Often I feel a sense of false security because, I think I'm still in my prime. What I'm realizing is that my physical prime was about 10 years ago. But I still struggle. Why do I need God's protection? You can't get it out of your head sometimes, of thinking, I just need to rely on God and ask for those blessings, ask for that protection. So why do I need to hide under his wings when there's nothing that can impact me? But the truth is, things do impact us, and we just don't see it coming. So many times people are blindsided by these illnesses. Anybody else feeling that way? I bet there is. A lot of us in this room that think, hey, I'm doing good right now. I feel great. But cancer, there's been destructions of homes and personal items, unexplained illnesses that change a person's life, how they have to live their day-to-day life forever, for the rest of their life. Tragedies that lead to either disabilities or even death at times, to individuals who we thought were invincible just minutes before. These illnesses and this destruction can take a toll on us. We've all seen the prayer requests that's going around our individual local church. The list just keeps growing, and there's additional things to it. Never before have I felt like calling on God to have mercy on me, protect me, like I do now. We need that protection, even if we don't think there's anything going on. And it's not just that I'm getting to the point where something's always aching, which it is. Like I said, that physical point, I think was probably 10 years ago. But we do need that protection. I'm realizing that I do want God's protection constantly. I need that sense of security. I need his security, as do all of you. Notice that the verse doesn't say that we need what we need protection from. It's not specific because we all face different things. Just that we do need to be pleading to God for protection until the danger passes by. What is that danger? None of us know what this physical life has, but we know that danger actually will not pass by until Satan is removed. So we need to constantly be turning to God because we don't know what's around the corner. Danger lurks from every corner now more than ever, it seems. So if you would, please turn to 1 Peter 5, and we'll look at verses 8 and 9. That's 1 Peter 5, verses 8 and 9. Here we have, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Resist him, steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same sufferings are experienced by your brotherhood in the world. So we see we are being desired. There's somebody out there, something out there trying to get us, constantly trying to rip us away from God. And it's easier right now to do it physically and spiritually together. When we're broken down or in pain, we're much more crippled, and we need each other to rely on. We know we're not immune to the dangers, and we're not alone in them here either. We saw the second part of that where it says, sufferings are experienced by your brotherhood in the world. We're not alone. We're all together in this. Praying for protection from a health crisis may seem pretty obvious to some, but when you feel good, it's hard to imagine something negative coming up. We want to stay in the good attitudes, and it's not that we're focusing on the negative stuff. It's just turning to God, leaning on God, knowing that He is the ultimate protector, that He has us. He has us in His hands, and He can protect us from everything if He chooses, but it is on His plan. Pray that God blesses us with protection before we see anything coming. Do we ever feel our eyes wandering towards the opposite sex? We are told, pray for protection. That's protection from ourselves. Do we go home at the end of a hard day, drink 1, 2, maybe 3 beers before we even get to dinner time? We need God's protection to help lift us up, to keep us strong. We need to hide beneath the blessings of His wings, not our own, His. Our lives are extremely fragile, even if we don't realize it until something arises. God tells us He's got this, so we don't have to. We don't have to have it on our own. He has this. We are never alone. No blessing is too small to receive, so don't think you're imposing on Him. Ask Him for help before making dents in your walls, carrying a burden that's too heavy for you alone.